Today we are going to save 4 billion euros on an auxiliary submarine for our ship.
Are you serious?
Yes, really, really. Greetings sailors and welcome to a new episode of the Low Cost Sailor. In today's episode we have gone all out, and with part of the profits we have saved with the previous tricks and DIYs, we have decided to buy a submarine. Yes, a submarine as you hear. Well, not a 4 billion euro submarine like the Navy's Isaac Peral, almost. But a small submarine that will be very practical in some of the usual situations of our boat. But above all, it will be a very fun toy to have, and that only costs 500 euros. Basically like a drone that flies. That's the average price for them too. And precisely there arises my first reflection. Every self-respecting nautical YouTuber has a drone that flies. Some with very, very expensive drones. We ourselves have one, but we haven't really taken advantage of many of its images yet, mostly because being on the boat, we're still a bit nervous about taking off and possibly crashing it. And of course it is Chinese, one of the best value for money they have. But I say, if this is going to be in the sea and everyone shows us the surface, we need an underwater drone to also record the bottom of the sea. And besides, I don't know any boat YouTuber who has one. And I'm not talking about YouTubers like us, I'm talking about Sailing La Vagabonde, Sailing Delos, or Sailing Uma, or even the great reference of sailing videos, Distance Surf. None of them have one. And they sail in the crystal clear waters of the Caribbean, which is much more visible than here. Well, I'm getting hot. Actually, that is what happened. I got hot and told Carlos, we are going to invest all our profits of all these months, and we are going to spend them in buying an underwater drone, the best we can afford, which happened to be also the cheapest. And what is the use of having an underwater drone? What is the practical purpose of it? Let's not fool ourselves. Fundamentally, we have bought it to play. Throw it in the water, see fish and get our asses wet, dig around the bottom of the ocean up to 50 feet deep, and then also for some practical things, like seeing if it has grabbed the anchor properly when we're going to spend the night, or the kind of bottom we're dropping anchor on, or check a mooring block and a buoy we're going to tie up to for several days, which we don't fully trust, or the state of the propeller, or the sacrificial anodes, or if there is any damage to the hull of a boat, or looking for something that has fallen to the bottom, or even looking for treasure. Why not? But we will see all that a little later in the video. There are many surprises waiting in this video, I tell you. Let's go shopping. There is not much to buy. Basically the drone we have chosen. There are already starting to be many underwater drones out there, although for the moment, they all ranged from 1,000 and many euros to many thousands of euros. And this one, Chasing Dory, seems to me already a revolution in its price. It's a bit like what happened with the aerial drones, that if at the beginning they cost in the order of 1,000 or thousands of euros, those with camera and stable flight with GPS, and those things then already came to Chinese things of very good quality. Chasing Dory is the equivalent of the good Chinese drone. It has a camera, can dive up to 15 meters, and you can manage it in real time in a very simple way with your mobile, and seeing at all times what happens. And then it's time to buy it. We are going to leave several links in the description and in our post on the web with the best places where you can buy it. And you have to take into account something, because you will see that there are sites where you can buy them on AliExpress for 400 euros and sites of 500. The difference is going to be from where they send it to you, that when we talk about something of this price, the shipping from China has many possibilities that they stop it in customs and you have to pay VATs and tariffs. You always have to take this into account when buying expensive items from AliExpress. The same as the shipping method, which usually goes unnoticed. For example, the standard shipping of AliExpress usually goes unnoticed by customs, and the one that almost certainly stop is always the shipment with DHL. That well, in the end, for example, customs, VAT and duties for something of 400 euros like this, it can amount to 100 and a little euros, which can still make it very interesting and allow us to take the risk that they do not stop it, and then we do not charge us that money. Well, in any case, we have decided to buy an option for 520 euros that is sent to you from Spain. So there are no tariffs, and we have also chosen to include the control knob, which is not strictly necessary, because it can be operated with the mobile screen, but that makes it more comfortable and easier to handle. And we hurried, because there are not many cheap ones available for sale from Spain. In addition, this kit comes with its backpack and some more accessories that we will see. Unboxing! Well, it has finally arrived, I say finally, but in fact it has taken exactly 2 days to arrive, so you will not have to wait long. The moment we were all waiting for is here. Who would have thought that in such a small box would fit a submarine, and we bought it in Spain? But well, this looks Chinese. If it wasn't for the fact that it took 2 days, I would have doubts that it wasn't sent directly from China. So let's see what's inside. I can't contain my excitement. Well, they couldn't have closed it any tighter either. Let's open it carefully. Maybe it's full of stones. Chinese stones. It always makes one doubt, doesn't it? Although also to say that always in AliExpress, when they have sent me something wrong, they have returned me the money, and sometimes they have even returned me the money, and I have kept the thing that was wrong. Well, the quality of the box is not spectacular. Let's see what's inside. Oh my god, it's filled with cork. A cork that is worthless. More cork, more cork, more cork. Well, we're off to a good start. A box that says Chasing and that looks like it has a remote control drawn on it. Let's put it away over here. Another box that already says Chasing Dory. It weighs very little and it's very big. I don't think it's the drone. More cork. I don't know what was in this cork originally. And what looks like the most important box, the third one, it says Chasing all over it. It's got batteries in it. That's a good sign. So and well, also a lot of Chinese. The rest of it, nothing else. So we've got 1, 2, and 3 boxes to open. The most important box of all, the big one, okay? This is the really interesting one. So let's start here. It's got a label, which this label looks like, well, like something of quality. At least this box already looks a lot better than the box that it came all wrapped up in. Let's open it and see that this one, which is the heavy one, will not be the one with the stones. Oops, oops, oops. Here's something that looks interesting. Chasing Dory. And here is the really good box. Also with the information here. And all the features, travel size, 1 hour battery, 49 feet, waterproof to 49 feet, adjustable tilt in English, 1080, GPS, Wi-Fi Boyar. This will have to be seen, visual effects and social media sharing. Let's see what's inside. Let's say, this is premium, huh? This doesn't look very Chinese. A case that looks like our drone is going to be in, a box, looks like I'm opening at least an iPad with the level of this packaging. And here what we have here is the buoy, which this is what's going to be floating outside. The instructions, I guess there's warranty here.
Oh, stickers!
Some stickers, it would be cooler if they were stick-on tattoos.
I want the stickers!
Well, we'll see. Imagine a Chasing Dory tattoo. And then, well, spare screws, the 15 meters of cable, a bunch of sealing gaskets, a spare cover, and a little hook to clean off the dirt that can get into the engines. And then... the Chinese packed this in super tight, huh? Here you'll need to cut and everything. Well, this is where the adventure begins. Here it is, here it is. Now we can repeat it like this, as if to say, well, and here comes out our charger, which doesn't have a plug, but here there are a lot of plugs for different countries' formats. And hopefully one is the European plug format, which is the one that's tucked in here the deepest, which we basically put in like this, twist it around, and we've got our power transformer. Let's get things out of the way and let's go through it. Cable, buoy, instructions, we're going to do a little check. The box with the instructions, spare screws, little hook with the lid, a bunch of the sealing gaskets, which are like the ones on the cable here. These are the gaskets, the power supply, which is like the cable itself, and the case, this super premium case, which is where our drone should be, okay? You can see it's here. Here it has, well, I have a little confession to make to you guys, okay? Because if you notice, the drone came to us a little bit wet. The box came a little bit wet. Some ship's patent stain here. Either the Chinese sent us a second-hand drone, or I couldn't resist the temptation. And as soon as it arrived, I opened it and I used it, and this is a little bit fake, okay? But well, don't hold it against me. Let's say that we have just used it for the first time. You see? Just like new, brand new, okay? And here we have the sticker of conformity of the drone, okay? At the moment, I'm just amazed by the case. I mean, everything looks like it's of exquisite quality. And in theory with this, we'll charge the drone by plugging it in here. This is the connector that it has, okay? And we'll use this plug right here. Since I've already confessed that I've already opened it up, I'll tell you that there was a gasket here that I've removed because it fits much more comfortably if we do it like this, without the gasket. Then we have our cable. One end will be connected here. You have to make sure that everything is very well sealed. And the other, removing this cover here in what is our buoy, which also says Chasing Dory, puts the Wi-Fi, the name of the Wi-Fi that we will create, the Wi-Fi network, our connector, and the other end of the cable, which is basically indifferent. And as soon as we plug it in, it's up and running. Then we'll play with it. We're going to look at the rest of the stuff that came to us on the blog. The next thing we bought is, among the purchase options that were available, we could buy it without a remote control or with a remote control. The remote control cost about 70 euros or something like that, but if you bought it together, it cost no more than 20 euros, so I decided to buy him with remote control. If not, you can manage him perfectly well with the cell phone simply, but this is an ideal complement to handle it additionally. And here too, official Chasing. There are more drone models from Chasing, but the others are for people who have money. But dear friends of Chasing, if you want to send us some other drone for free to try, we'd be delighted. We have paid for this one.
Or two.
Yes, it's two of us here. Okay, and then here we have the controller. The controller is Bluetooth with its instructions on how to connect it. And in this other box, we have a handle to put here on the remote. Well, here on the remote as well, as you can see, so you have the CE compliance label and all that stuff. I think it's CE. It's always hard for me to distinguish it from the China Sport. And this other one, which is the place where we can place the cell phone to see the same thing that the drone sees while it's transmitting. My mobile, which is a very fat brick, fits perfectly, so you will have no problem with any mobile. Okay, so this would be the second package that we have. And we're moving on to the third and last package that we have, which is this one. This one, well, I hope it doesn't have anything very delicate, because if you look at it, the trip from China has been a bit hard. But, well, let's see what's inside. We have bought the complete set with everything, so if I'm not mistaken, here we are going to get a towel. A towel, yeah, with the Chasing branding, so we can put it to dry, made of microfiber, the best. If you then have to clean the table, this towel is the best. Then see if there's anything else around here. Oh, there's something else here. Then there's also a safety rope over here. A safety rope to be able to rescue it. Oh, and it's elastic. Look, an elastic rope to be able to rescue the buoy or the drone, to be able to hook it. I suppose that you can hook it to the cable, or you can hook it to the drone at a given moment and rescue it. I would probably loop it around and let it bite onto itself to avoid damaging the cable. I'm more worried about the cable than the rubber. This will have to be tested. This one I have not used it, and the backpack that I really wanted to open because I had not used it either. I was saving it for you so you can see how I can resist the temptation. A super fashionable backpack with its supports, its sections, and in theory, there should be room for us to fit everything. Here this. We're going to put this in here. We can put the cable in here. We can, well, then I guess we'll have to put the dividers and stuff in here. But we can put, well, it's got a pocket here and everything. We can put all this in here. We'll probably tidy it up a little bit more. We've got all of our drone parts in here, and we can close it up like this, and in this space. We can close it up like this, and in this very compact space, we can take our drone on a trip. We can even put our line in here, and our charger in this other pocket. With everything ready, we're ready to go on a trip. Let's try it out.
Let's play.
Let's play. Well, we unpack everything. The first test should be done in protected waters, in a swimming pool, somewhere with very clear water. It is very important to check the O-ring when tightening it. Well, in my case, there is one that fits better than another in the drone. It has no switch, okay? As soon as we plug in the buoy, it will turn on. As we have bought it with the remote control, we are going to connect them. We have already downloaded the application from Google Play. Then we look for Wi-Fi. We have here, we find Dory and a little number. We connect them, and now it's a matter of opening the Chasing application, which we have already downloaded from Google Play, and hopefully it will put us connected. Connected, we start, and we're done. We already have our drone working.
See you next time.
The black money seems to be. We place it on the remote control. I recommend you calibrate it, but we are not going to look at it now, so it doesn't take longer. And then the next thing is to turn on the remote, if you are going to use the remote. If not, the controls are on the screen, like this. Okay? Then we turn on the controller, and it's going to tell us that it has detected the controller. If we mark it, we go to select. It already tells us that it has connected successfully, and we are ready. The good thing is that it floats. You can also throw the buoy into the water. You can leave it on the boat or not, but if you throw it, as you can see, it also floats. And now we would go with the basic controls. The first thing, start the engines, pressing the central button. Starts, we already have it placed under the water. Things we can do, turn. Okay, to one side, we'll turn to the other side. With that same control on the left side, we go backwards. Be forward. Yeah, meanwhile, we always have the live video. Following the depth, you will see that the depth is marked in a corner, and then at the same time we have the water temperature, which makes you want to bathe. The water is good. With the right knob, we can go down in depth. When we release all the controls, it will stay in place, and with the same control, we can go up in depth to the surface. We are using in the high mode. That means that it responds very fast. If there is a current, it is easier to handle in the high mode. In the low mode, everything is smoother and slower. We go backwards, we turn to one side, we turn to another side, go down or up. And now finally we have two important controls. That we have them in the wheels of the control or in the screen. The first thing, tilt it forward. Here you see, we are going to take the GoPro that we have there on the floor. If we tilt it forward, you can regulate the inclination. And if you look at it, it has a little bit of a tendency that way backwards that we'll have to compensate. And then the other option is we put it on and we can tilt it up. Then maybe you can even see Carlos. And that way you will surely... Yes, you can see Carlos now. Finally, when we are in the depth, if it is dark, we can illuminate it by turning on the spotlights. And lastly, a very important thing that we will tell you about is that if at any moment you stop the engines or anything happens, it slowly, as it floats, it will rise to the surface and we can recover it with peace of mind with the cable itself. It's designed to support at least its own weight. So it's okay if we do this.
Have you ever fished a drone?
The best thing I've ever fished. The whole thing was intended to start as a simple review of the drone. We had no idea how far we would go. We just wanted to make a good video. So we started using it in the simplest and most prudent ways. First checking the boat, looking at how dirty it was, looking out of a neighbor's boat to see the propellers. And looking for some life at the bottom of the harbor. So far so normal. And nobody imagined what we were about to discover. While we were getting used to the drone, we started to use it in a more practical way. In the anchorages, to see if the anchor had grabbed correctly, or if it was miserably wrong in a rocky area, for example. That eventually made us get more eager to investigate the possibilities a little more. Then one Sunday morning, I loaded all my gear into the Zodiac and went to explore a wreck site near the harbor that I had heard about. And the truth is that I thought we would come back with our hands as dirty as when we tried to go fishing for tuna in the summer, but no. Something shows up, something innocent. Something appears, something innocent. Among the shadows of the seabed appeared the silhouette of a small sunken sailboat. and I could barely make out some of the numbers on its license plate. Quite an achievement it seemed to me. I also mentioned it to Carlos, who had some very good shots and who was the driving force behind what happened next.
I encouraged him to investigate.
Because at least I thought he would be entertained for a few days and he wouldn't be pushing me to finish the videos, and so I could dedicate myself to play a little with the Raspberry that we set up the console the other day. I thought we would just waste time. We would have a great time. But I never ever thought that we were going to find what we love.
Thanks to Carlos's encouragement, I started to research the zoonautical records in search of the history of that ship. It seemed a bit of a strange story, a ship that sank almost as soon as it reached the port, after a collision near an island, and that apparently in its manifest appeared a cargo that had been crossed out and that disappeared during the collision. Something very old and valuable. This is the only thing we know about it. I don't know what happened to me. I became obsessed. I became obsessed with the story. I could hardly sleep at night. I felt a close connection to the origin of the story. Was it related to me? Was it behind the real story of my origin and my passion for the sea? After all, my brothers always told me that I was found in a garbage dump, and knowing my father and the things he sometimes brought home, found and fixed, the story made some sense. Finally, one afternoon, I convinced a group of expert divers to accompany me to the island where the collision occurred, and that we would begin a search of the bottom to find some clue with the drone. Nobody took me very seriously. And at the beginning it was all laughs, a nice walk, a swim, fooling around in front of the camera. Even Carlos was delighted, thinking that we would have some great shots for the drone review. But what happened next, we couldn't have imagined. As we scoured the bottom, in the area that the ancient manuscript said half buried in the sand, something surprising appeared. An ancient chest? It had to have been buried there for a long time, but at the same time it looked strangely new, as if some kind of energy was emanating from inside that prevented the fish from approaching it. We could not contain ourselves and decided to bring it to the surface. With our rudimentary means, we managed to fish it out and ascend. Here's something. How's it going? We split the treasure, don't we? Man, we already decided that we would open it in the harbor once we got rid of the divers. We didn't need any more witnesses to our discovery. The time had finally come to open the chest of mysteries. The answer we were looking for was now right under our noses. What would it contain? What was inside? Thank goodness that in the end we would not have to share the treasure. We opened it, and what we found surprised us more than we expected. A VHS tape. Some of you may not even know what it is, but it's how videos were stored in the olden days. We used all our restoration skills. And we were finally able to recover just a few but amazing images. What was that? It was me. My past was there. And my future was already predestined. It was me in a primetime video from 30 years ago going on TV. How could that be? Was I always predestined to have a YouTube channel? Could it be that the cameras love me so much? Were my brothers cheating me all this time to keep the 25,000 pesetas of the prize? And above all, two terrible doubts. What the fuck does this have to do with the drone review? And can the drone be considered as just another camera? Yet another camera! The truth is that we are very happy with the drone. Just from a toy point of view, it's a great toy. To use it, to navigate there, to get into the bottom, to use it with children or in company, to create a little hobby for the sea, it's great. But then, it's also very easy to handle. That is, compared to a drone that flies, it is much easier to handle. There are easier situations and more difficult situations. That is, you're going to have to practice a little bit, for example, because you're going to be able to get it between the daggerboard blade or around the propeller of the boat. You're going to be able to do it right away. But at the beginning, sometimes if you get the cable a little bit stuck, you will have to get your ass wet. But that's okay. Okay, Carlos uses it better than me, he knows how to use it better than me, but that may change in the future. From that point of view, as a toy, great. From the practical point of view, it can be very practical. That is, in the end, as a tool to complement the boat, much more important than a drone that flies, to see the anchor, to see the bow, to see what kind of bottom you have, to see if you need to change the anodes of the boat or what state the hull or the propeller is in, very good. If you are professionally engaged in any kind of activity of this kind, then from that, to inspect boats, or if you have a diving company, for example, to take videos of those who are already diving from above, it has a lot of utilities for which you will be able to use it. The truth is that it is quite economical for what it is and what it does, which is a submarine that dives into the sea and records videos in real time. I find it super cost effective and super easy to use. We have been using it for 3 weeks now. When the summer is over, we will do a Q&A and we will tell you what is the real experience we have around it, but for now, fabulous. You can also see that you start playing with it, and in the end, it can go a little overboard, as we have gone a little overboard with this video, right? Well, everyone can do what he wants with his drone. After all, if you buy it, enjoy it. And above all, if you like this video, as always, please give us a like, subscribe to the channel. We are in need of subscribers. Tell everyone that you love this channel, and we'll get more people in our little community. The bell, hit the little bell. You have all the links in the comments in the video description. That in the description you have to give there a see more button or something like that so that it comes up. And if not, on our website www.thelowcostsailor.com. See you in 2 Fridays in the next episode of Low Cost Sailor.